Okay, let's watch this video. The Hwei reveal got a lot more interesting. I'm pretty sure he's gonna talk about the demonology of this game with probably fiddlesticks. Nila, I think, also has a demon. So let's see what this guy has.
I turned a 15-second long announcement into an 8-minute long video. 1.5 minutes is amateur hour. So, as you might know, Worlds have concluded in a very quick and spoiler-free way. And as
Yes,
part of that celebration, Rad
I'm happy
revealed
for
two
T1.
things. One way bigger than the other. But we'll get to that one in a separate video. Because today we are focusing on the reveal of Hwei, an artistic champion that's been teased for quite a while, and whose original idea dates back to around 2016. Well, during Worlds, Hwei finally saw the first light of day. And immediately after that, the embargo got lifted, and some of the
Okay.
creators got to showcase all the abilities. By the way, yes, both of their reveals leaked like 12 hours before Worlds, but you know what? I didn't see the leaks, I was happy. Anyway, spoiler alert, Hwei is quite special, because he might have 10 abilities. That's right, get that Aphelios PTSD going. In fact, perhaps it would be good to start here before we dive into the entire reveal. In short, Hwei is a mage. As to what kind
Okay.
of a mage he is, that depends on how you play him. You see, his key mechanic are the subjects. He has 3 different ones bound to his Q, W, and E. These would
Okay.
be Disaster, Serenity, and Torment. As you can see by the names themselves, Hwei is not gonna be the happiest champion on the Rift. And to cast a basic ability, you first have to pick which ability you wanna cast.
Amumu, I think it is. He's be like, oh, we have competence in this summoner's rift of the edgiest and saddest motherfucker.
At being Q, W, or E, after which you alter it with another subject, that also being a Q, W, or an E. The reason why I'm phrasing it like this instead of just saying that you combine 2 of his abilities to cast an ability is because the first time you press an ability and you choose which subject you cast, no matter how you alter it, that ability will be put on cooldown. So by pressing Q and W, the Q will go on cooldown. By using WE, your W will go on cooldown.
As,
And
as
with,
I
for
imagine,
example, E and
I talk
Q,
about it that
your
it will be
E
like
will
that,
go on cooldown.
like this.
The first press is what triggers the cooldown, with your
Okay.
ultimate being a totally separate ability. However, if you only pressed one of the abilities and you decided to cancel the cast, you can use your ultimate to do so. That's right, your ultimate is also a cancel button, and it only
I
acts as
like
a
that.
proper ultimate if you don't have another spell already queued up. And yes, you also have a passive ability on top of all of this. Now, of course, at this point, I am aware that all of this sounds like a lot. And that's because it is. But it's also all very cool if you ask me. So let's dive into the specifics. Your Q is your main damaging ability.
Mm-hmm.
QQ is your main AoE damaging skill shot. Amumu should take notes here. QW is a ranged explosion with an execute effect.
And the
And
QE is still
QE is a line of slowing fire.
okay.
W is all about utility. WQ
Shields
gives you
and
a line of
movement.
speed. WW creates a field that
There we go.
generates shields. And WE gives your next 3 attacks or abilities bonus damage, and
What?
they regenerate some mana. And
Oh,
then we
okay,
have
like
E, which is all
Twisted
about crowd
Fate
control.
card.
EQ is a fearing skill shot. EW creates a ghost that chases the enemy to root them, and
What the
EE
fuck?
pulls everyone into the center of the ability.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, as I
Oh
mentioned, there's
boy.
also the passive ability. Every time you hit an enemy with an ability, you mark them. And after you hit them the second time with a different ability, they explode. And
Okay.
finally, here comes the ultimate. It is kinda a more badass Fizz ult. It is a big skill shot that attaches to the enemy, and after a brief moment of expanding and slowing everyone, it explodes. Looking at all of these abilities, I think it's safe to say that Hwei is gonna be nuts in the hands of someone good. And
Of
yes,
course.
his secondary role is supposed to be support. So beware,
Yeah.
that one's gonna be crazy. Now,
As an Eric
that's
carry,
pretty
I
much
am
it from
scared.
the gameplay side. So now, here comes the interesting part. Did you notice how demonic all of his abilities look? Especially the crushing maw or the eye that is chasing the enemy. Well, that's because for the longest time it was theorized that Hwei would be connected to a demon, kinda like Neela. And
Yes.
based on everything we've seen, it all lines up. I mean, even the first teasers had a demonic script on them. Anyway, to show you what I mean, let's dive into the teaser.
Oh, come on. What is this? Dude. Okay. I already watched this.
Something dark clings to me.
See what I mean? We are 5 seconds in and they already teased it. Something dark is clinging to him. But yes, to start breaking all of this apart. While we don't have his bio yet, from what Riot told us, we know a good portion of the story already. For example, here, I am pretty sure we can see his former masters. The ones who taught him how to master his craft of art and who inspired him to create techniques of his own, which are probably
Okay.
gonna be quite dark. But then you can see
And
this
sad.
red painty flame collapse onto all of them,
And
and it
edgy.
results in what looks like
An
Jin's
explosion?
explosion.
What?
Peculiar, isn't it? Here
Oh.
I believe the painty flames represent the demon itself. Perhaps it would be the demon of sadness or despair. In the same way how Neela's watery whip comes from
Happy.
Ashlash, the demon of joy.
Oh,
Now
okay.
after this, for a few
Joy.
frames, we get a very quick vision. There is
Ooh,
not
look at that.
much to pick apart here. It is a wasted landscape that kinda looks similar to all the parts of the world that were destroyed by the Darkin. But since this is supposed to be in Ionia, because this is where Hwei is from, we should be looking around there. But thankfully, being the lore nerd I am, I think I can pin this down with a decently high confidence. You see, when you go to the map of Runeterra and you look at Ionia, you'll find that the
The
most
bottom
southern
side.
islands of Ionia
Yes,
look
south.
like a barren wasteland. Well, in this part, it was confirmed that some kind of a disaster happened here, which drained all the life and nature. It was never revealed what it was, but especially the Getu Sea dried out because of it. And this place would honestly line up pretty well with what was shown in the teaser. I am pretty sure this is showing us where the demon originates from, meaning that the demon Hwei has would be responsible for this disaster. And it all lines up because just north of here, you have the Tula prison, which is where Jin was imprisoned, and the Kashuri armory right next to it, which is where
Hmm.
Jin's weapons were made. Why are these so important? You'll see in just a moment. After this, the teaser zooms in on Hwei, and it talks about what he can see inside his darkness. Things such as destruction and despair. And he points out that Jin brought it to light. Yes, that's right, Hwei has a connection to Jin. And perhaps he
Nice.
could be some kind of an apprentice of his. Or perhaps he just
Nah.
got some wisdom from him, similar to how
Okay.
Dahlia was trained by Yasuo for a while. But here comes the
Wait,
cool
really?
part. While
I
Jin
didn't know
is
that.
all about the number 4, Hwei seems to be often referencing number 3. He has 3 abilities which he combines, and here in the teaser it also shows his 3 arts. Not to mention that he also has his 3-hit ability.
And 3
I'm
arts.
pretty sure that one is intentional, especially since after that it shows 3 demonic hands, where I assume each one of these represents one of the arts: Disaster, Serenity, and Torment. After which we get a quick showcase of all the abilities, as Hwei talks about the light in him. Which, by the way, I believe is another purposeful thing. He has Disaster and Torment on each side of his abilities, with Serenity staying in the middle to hold back the darkness. So thematically, it seems like Hwei is about the struggle against the dark forces as he clings onto hope. Perhaps this is all by design of the demon. Maybe a little bit of hope is what makes the despair so much better. After which, the teaser shows us the full design. And here I want to point out one thing. You know how Neela is carrying around Ashlash in the little ball which gives her the powers? It's like a
Mm-hmm.
personal prison of hers. What if this is what Hwei has around his neck? Maybe this is where the demon is now. But also, see the circle behind him? It's almost like an Ouroboros, the world serpent that is eating itself in an endless cycle of rebirth. Based on this, it seems like Hwei is locked in an endless cycle of hope being consumed by despair, which eventually fizzles out back into hope. And as I mentioned,
Wait, that is really
maybe
cool.
this is by design of the demon. It is keeping him in an endless loop of despair. After which, the same blue and red circling theme reflects in his eye, which is where the teaser ends.
What
So,
the
a bit of a
fuck?
summary. Gameplay wise, this champion is gonna be a nightmare to balance, but
Oh, for
also
sure.
it's gonna be very fun to play. And on the design side, he looks very interesting too. Not only through his connections to Jin, but also with the possible links to demons. And honestly, my favorite part is that he might reveal what the heck happened down there in Ionia. Or maybe, and just maybe, I am wrong about all of this. That happens too, and I am okay with it. When we get his story, we'll learn about that. But here, one thing is certain. We should all start huffing a lot of copium, because the Void event is on the horizon again.
No, it's not. They confirm it. Big F in the chat. What a cool character. I can't wait to see family friendly art from internet artists. Oh no. Fuck, shut up. Oh god. Is there any Rule 34 of him already? I think it is, for sure. Basically, its own take on the Invoker or an advanced high skill caster from Dota 2 with multiple different spells like this, with who combines elements to create plethora of spells with their own combos and synergies. I'm very interested to see what this champion is capable of. Yeah, I heard about the Dota 2 champion. I guess this is Riot version of it. I can't wait to play it. I don't know when he's coming. I know he's in PvE. I wanna try it on the normal server.